Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today we're stepping into a space that, well, you normally think of as pure joy, right? Amusement parks, carefree fun.
Exactly. Roller coasters, laughter, escape.
But what if? What if beneath all that bright paint and cheerful music, something much more unsettling is lurking, maybe even terrifying?
That's a fascinating thought, isn't it? These places built for fun, becoming the backdrop for something deeply disturbing. It really challenges how we think about public spaces we assume are safe.
Absolutely. So today we're diving into a collection of really chilling accounts. These are from people who went for a thrill ride and got, well, something else entirely.
Yeah, these are true stories told from different places, and they range from just plain weird human interactions to things that are harder to explain.
Right. Encounters that shatter that feeling of safety or maybe even brush up against the inexplicable. We're talking about curiosity leading straight to terror and the sort of questions that stick with you long after.
And what strikes me about these stories is how they reveal vulnerabilities, maybe insecurity, maybe just in our own assumptions about these places.
Okay, so let's get into it. We'll start with some of those unsettling human encounters because sometimes, honestly, the scariest things aren't the fake monsters, they're the real people.
That's often true.
Our first story takes us to Adventureland. It's a smaller park, Long Island. And this comes from someone who was only 6 years old when this happened.
Wow, 6. That immediately flags the vulnerability, doesn't it? In a place parents expect to be safe. It's a real betrayal of that fundamental trust.
Totally. So she's there with her mom and her aunt, who was very pregnant at the time. Everything seems fine. But then her aunt starts noticing this guy.
Okay.
Tall, thin, salt and pepper hair, muscle tee, shorts. And he's alone, just staring at this little girl. Smiling.
Oh, that's instantly creepy. The staring, the smiling, being alone, major red flags.
Yeah. And then it gets worse. She's on the merry-go-round, and he actually walks up to her, smiles, and says, "I would love to take your picture sometime."
Whoa. To a 6-year-old, that directness, bypassing the parents, that's not accidental. That feels calculated, predatory.
My skin crawled just reading that. Her aunt, understandably, freaked out, screamed at him. They grabbed the kid, rushed her to the park's first aid, demanding security.
Good for the aunt. Quick reaction.
The little girl is hysterical, right? She doesn't fully get why everyone's panicked, but she feels the dread. And get this, apparently this same guy had been kicked out the week before for taking pictures of Girl Scouts.
What's it? And he got back in.
Yep. Which raises serious questions. But wait, the follow-up is even more chilling. After they talk to security, they step outside the first aid building, and he's there.
No way.
Sitting on a bench, eating ice cream, just waiting. He laughs, waves the little girl, smiles, and says, "I'll see you soon, sweetie," then just walks off.
That is terrifying, the audacity, waiting like that. The final threat. It shows a complete lack of fear of consequences and a desire to leave that lasting psychological scar. And it points to a big security lapse, clearly.
That line, "I'll see you soon, sweetie," and it just hangs there. Horrifying. Okay, moving on. Next story involves a 10-year-old girl. It's around Halloween at an amusement park.
Halloween. So the park's probably playing up the spooky theme already.
Exactly. She mentioned decorations that were like, "I'm gonna fucking haunt your nightmares forever" level, so the atmosphere's already a bit edgy.
Right, which can sometimes blur the lines, maybe even provide cover for genuinely weird behavior.
That seems to be what happened here. Enter Harley Quinn. Not like an official park character. This was a woman, maybe 35, described as chubby, wearing a really ill-fitting, kind of creepy suit, high-pitched voice.
Okay.
And she's alone, hanging out by a kiddie ride, no kids with her. She sees the narrator and her crying little brother get on a ride, and apparently her face just lights up.
Oh, that's unsettling.
She gets on the ride too, sits near them, tries to talk to the 10-year-old. "Hey, want to hang out?"
Pushing interaction with a kid like that.
But girl felt awkward, trapped, but also kind of sorry for this woman who seemed lonely, so she politely said yes.
Yeah, kids often feel obligated to be polite even when something feels off. It's easy to manipulate that.
And it escalated. Harley Quinn follows them off the ride. Then she goes up to the father and says, "Hey, bud, what ride are we going on next?"
Okay, crossing another boundary there.
The dad's confused, tries to politely disengage, but then later, the dad looks over, sees Harley Quinn near another ride sign. And she is squatting, pants down, urinating, right there, while staring directly at the 10-year-old girl.
What? That's That's not just weird, that's deliberately shocking and aggressive. It's like marking territory, but in the most disgusting way possible, aimed right at the child.
It's bizarre, calculated malice. The family obviously is like, we're out of here. They start speed walking to the exit.
I don't blame.
But who's standing right by the exit staring at them?
Oh no, her again.
Harley Quinn. And she says, leaving so soon, you really do know how to make a nice girl sad, don't you? Just the creepiest look on her face.
Wow. The persistence is terrifying. It's like she was deliberately orchestrating this whole disturbing performance just to target them, especially the girl. Leaves you wondering what kind of deep-seated issues someone like that has.
Right. Just pure unsettling strangeness. Okay, next one is really tough. It's about a girl's 10th birthday, local amusement park. Big deal for her because it was the first time she was allowed to go on rides by herself.
That feeling of independence, which makes what happens next even worse.
She decides to try the more adventurous fun house. You know, one of those maze-like ones, multiple floors.
Right. It's supposed to be disorienting, but fun, safe thrills.
Well, inside, she feels a bump. Someone gropes her butt. She's 10. She doesn't have a concept of molestation, so she just thinks, oh, crowded, someone bumped me accidentally.
Yeah, at that age, you wouldn't necessarily register it for what it was. You'd rationalize it.
Exactly. But then she gets separated from other people, finds herself alone in a section of the maze, and it happens again and again. She panics, tries to find the exit, but she's lost in the funhouse maze, feeling trapped and being repeatedly groped.
That's horrific. The funhouse, designed for playful confusion, becomes a literal trap for assault. It's a horrifying betrayal of what that space should be.
And the truly heartbreaking part, it wasn't until years later looking back that she fully understood what had actually happened to her that day. The memory just shifted into something awful.
Devastating. That delayed realization, the violation of innocence in a place meant for joy, the psychological impact is profound. It really exploits a child's trust and lack of understanding.
It's just awful. Okay, one more in this sort of human encounter vein. This involves a group of friends at a town carnival.
Carnivals.
Yeah.
Similar vibe to amusement parks. Temporary, transient, lots of people. Can feel a bit lawless sometimes.
Yeah. So one friend wants to walk back to her nearby apartment to change her shirt. The narrator and another friend, a guy, go with her and wait outside the building, which the narrator described as kind of shady.
Okay, setting the scene.
Well, while they're waiting, this older guy, maybe in his 60s, comes down the stairs, lights a cigarette, and starts talking to them.
Just casual chat.
Not exactly. It gets weird fast. He starts talking about self-defense and rape, but he's directing it only at the female narrator, basically ignoring her male friend who's standing right there.
Whoa. Okay, that's targeted and incredibly inappropriate. Alarm bells should be ringing loud.
She said even though she had 5 years of self-defense training, she was completely frozen, just terrified. And then the guy drops this line, if I was a rapist, I would rape both of you.
Oh my God. That's a direct threat. It's psychological terror.
Absolutely. And then, just as calmly as if he'd been talking about the weather, he finishes his cigarette, stubs it out, and says, we'll have a nice time at the carnival tonight, and walks away.
The whiplash.
Yeah.
From explicit threat back to polite small talk that's deeply manipulative and disturbing, designed to destabilize and terrify, targeting her specifically. Chilling.
Pure psychological warfare. But here's the twist. The friend they were waiting for comes out, tells them the guy's name was Jim, but then she says, wait, there is no Jim in my apartment building.
What? So he lied about who he was, gave a fake name.
Seems like it. And then, as they're walking back toward the carnival, they see him again, the same guy, getting out of his car and going into an empty fun house at the carnival.
An empty fun house? Okay, that connects back. That feels significant. More than just a random creep. It suggests maybe he's part of something darker within the carnival itself, or it links to, well, maybe other stories.
Exactly. It leaves this really ominous feeling. So we've seen how human awfulness can twist these fun places into something scary. But what about when things get stranger, when the encounters aren't so easily explained as just bad people?
Yeah, moving beyond human malice into territory that feels uncanny. Unexplained phenomena, dark secrets hidden within the park grounds.
Let's go there. This first one is from a university student. It starts simple enough. She took a wrong turn walking through a park at night after a concert.
Okay, a common enough mistake. But the way she describes it, it sounds like it became much more than just being lost.
Definitely. He's heading back to her friend's place, has to cross a river, go through this park. It's late, past midnight. She finds herself walking up a hill. She doesn't remember being there. And at the top, she looks down into an empty carnival.
Empty. Like abandoned.
Not exactly abandoned, but wrong. People were there, sitting at lemonade stands, on roller coasters that weren't moving, at picnic tables. But she said they looked pretty normal except for having these gaunt, drawn-out faces with no expression and sunken eyes that just followed her.
Oh, wow. That description is key. Not monsters, but humans devoid of life, of expression. The uncanny valley effect cranked up to 11. That blank, tracking stare is deeply unsettling. It's like encountering husks.
She was totally freaked out, but she had this gut feeling she had to maintain eye contact with one of them. This zombie of a man, she called him. Felt it was the only way to stay safe.
That's a primal response, isn't it? Locking eyes with the perceived threat.
She kept eye contact, walking backward down the trail until she got to the next bridge. Then she just bolted, sprinted across the bridge, heard a shout from behind her, which just made her run faster into the dark woods, tripping over roots, desperate to get away.
That desperate flight, the feeling of pursuit. Even if nothing physically chased her, the psychological terror is absolutely real. The experience itself is horrifying.
And here's the thing, there was a rational explanation, sort of. Her friend told her later she'd accidentally wandered onto the South Trail. Apparently, it was a known hangout for local meth addicts and gang members. A really dangerous area where, as the friend put it, muggings were the least of it.
Ah, okay, so the figures could have been people high or dangerous.
Right, but the narrator said somehow knowing that almost made it worse. The feeling she had, that intense psychological dread, the sense of confronting something non-human. It didn't just vanish with the logical explanation.
That's fascinating. It speaks to how powerful that feeling of the uncanny is. Even if you can rationally explain it later, the terror of the experience, the brush with something that felt fundamentally wrong and inhuman, that stays with you. It blurs that line between real danger and something else.
It really does. A potent reminder of how perception shapes fear. Okay, buckle up for this next one. It's an account from an anonymous employee, someone who worked at a major U.S. amusement park, and claims to have seen its darkest secrets.
Anonymous source. This sounds like it could get into conspiracy territory. Or maybe just deeply covered up horrors, corporate secrets.
Seems like the latter. He describes this incident with a coworker named Marley. One night after the park closed, Marley just stiffens up, eyes go wild. She's staring, totally entranced at one of those spinning saucer rides.
Okay, that's weird, like a trance.
Yeah. And then she pleads, "Give me to Caroline."
Give me to Caroline. Not help me, but give me to... That's specific and strange. It sounds like a request for transference or sacrifice. Who's Caroline?
Exactly. It's chilling. Then Marley throws herself right into the path of the moving ride.
Oh, God.
The description is gruesome, bludgeoned instantly, blood and gore everywhere, just horrific.
That's awful. But the plea, "Give me to Caroline," makes it seem like more than just a sudden impulse.
And the reaction confirms something is deeply wrong. Within minutes, two managers show up. No panic, no shock. One just mutters, "Another one."
Another one, implying this has happened before.
Seems like it. They don't check on Marley. They immediately fuss over the narrator, the witness. Wrap him in a blanket they just happen to have ready.
Conveniently on hand. Yeah, that suggests preparedness. They expected this, or something like it.
No police called. No ambulance. Just a janitor, looking bored, arrives with a stained trash cart, cleans up the remains, disposes of the body like it's garbage.
That is cold. The complete lack of normal procedure, the casual disposal. It points to a routine cover-up, an institutionalized process for handling these incidents and keeping them quiet. How many other ones have there been? And who is Caroline?
It gets even darker. The narrator realizes his high salary isn't just for the job. He's being paid hush money. Paid to keep my mouth shut about terrible things.
Wow. So he's trapped in it now, too.
He starts digging into Marley's background, finds her family history, and discovers this horrific pattern. Marley's father, her twin brother, her mother, two sisters, all died by suicide.
Oh my God. The whole family.
And each death was exactly 1 year apart, culminating in Marley's death, which perfectly coincided with that yearly anniversary.
Wait, exactly 1 year apart. That's not random. That screams pattern, like a curse or some kind of predetermined cycle tied to that date. It makes "Give Me to Caroline" sound even more like part of some dark obligation.
It's deeply disturbing. He decides to visit Marley's cousin, Nan, and her family, tells them what he saw. At first, they laugh coldly. Someone says, "Ding dong, the witch is dead."
The witch? They called her a witch? Okay, there's some seriously bad blood or dark history there.
But then Nan's father, Richard, just snaps. completely loses it, smashes a chair through a window, physically assaults his wife, just explodes into uncontrollable rage.
Whoa. That sudden violence after the callous remark, it suggests something volatile simmering beneath the surface. Maybe guilt, maybe fear, maybe they know more about Marley and Caroline than they let on. It points to a really deep, perhaps shared family trauma connected to Marley and possibly the park.
The whole thing is just layers upon layers of horror and unanswered questions. Okay, now for the last one, and this is intricate and frankly terrifying. It's known as the Effeling Journal.
Effeling, the Dutch park.
Right.
And this starts with finding a journal.
Yes, a red, crumbled journal found literally stuck inside a wall of the haunted house attraction there.
Found in the wall. That's already setting a tone, like it's part of the haunting itself, an artifact of someone's experience.
Exactly. The person who wrote it seems to have been going through a rough patch, looking for some excitement at the park, which he found, but not the kind he wanted. It starts with seeing a puppet displayed in a window above a food stand. He describes it as incredibly lifelike, but with this angry frown, sunken eyes just full of anger and pain, staring right at him.
So right away he's projecting or perceiving intense negative emotion onto this inanimate object. It's more than just a prop to him. It feels like a presence.
Yeah. And then right below that window, he sees a service door open. He feels this pull, this irresistible urge to go inside.
Curiosity or something else drawing him in.
He goes in. It's a musty, dusty room, clearly off limits. And inside, he finds a note.
What did it take?
It's cryptic. Perform the ritual in the room behind the haunted house. Shouldn't do any harm. Now the room will be tainted, though better don't allow people in there anymore. And it had dried up dark red smudges on it.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Ritual, tainted room, dark red smudges. That immediately shifts this from trespassing to stumbling onto something potentially ritualistic and dangerous.
Yeah.
Connected to the haunted house itself. That room is clearly a focal point.
As he's reading this, an old park employee, maybe 70s, bursts in, furious, grabs him, yells at him to get out. As the journal writer rushes past him, he sees something behind the old man, just a glimpse of a slender, long silhouette.
A silhouette. Okay, that's creepy. And the employee.
Here's the kicker. Later, he realizes the angry puppet in the window. It looked exactly like that old park employee he just encountered.
The puppet is the employee.
Yeah.
Or a double. That's deeply unsettling. The lines are blurring already.
And his brother, who was with him earlier, casually mentions that the puppet seems to move when you watch it for a long time.
Okay, so even someone else noticed something odd. It validates the narrator's unease. That puppet and the man it resembles are central to this.
The terror ramps up. Even outside the park, he feels constantly watched. At night, he hears scraping sounds against his window, but there are no trees nearby, no birds. He's paralyzed by fear sometimes.
The haunting is following him home. Classic escalation.
Then, one night, back in the park, he sees it by a pond. The slender silhouette. It turns. He sees a skinny, pale arm, glittering long nails, awful red pupils, and a yellow teeth smile, reaching for him.
Okay, full manifestation now. No longer just a glimpse or a feeling. This is direct confrontation with something monstrous, something non-human. The description is pure nightmare fuel.
He's desperate for answers, does some digging online, finds an old photo from the 1960s. It shows the old park employee, the guy the puppet looks like much younger, looking happy. But wait, no, the description says he looked like he was already in his 70s back in the 60s photo. That's odd.
Already 70s and the 60s. Okay, that doesn't add up chronologically. Or maybe he just aged hard. Or something else.
He manages to talk to another longtime park employee, Jim. Jim confirms the old guy, whose name was Bob, was real. A WWII vet, suffered from depression.
The depression connection again. Vulnerability.
Jim tells him Bob disappeared back in 1968. Vanished. Presumed suicide. The story was, Bob insisted on taking a broken doll into the haunted house by himself.
A broken doll. Into the haunted house.
Okay. Bob was never seen again. His last words to Jim were, "Wish me luck. I feel I might need it."
Wish me luck. I feel I might need it. That doesn't sound like someone about to commit suicide. That sounds like someone heading into a confrontation or a dangerous task. What about the doll?
Jim describes the doll Bob took in. A pale ghost girl in a white dress, pretty, but with creepy long nails.
Okay, wait. A pale ghost girl doll with long nails. That sounds like the silhouette creature he saw. But the puppet he saw looked like Bob, the angry old man.
Exactly. The puppet is Bob, but Bob disappeared with the ghost girl doll. This suggests maybe Bob didn't just die. Maybe he was trapped, maybe replaced, maybe he became the angry puppet, while the ghost girl entity persisted.
Or the ghost girl entity trapped him. His last words feel like a warning or a plea before facing whatever that doll represented. This is getting complex.
The final journal entry is rough. He feels compelled to go back to the park at night. Driven by fear, but also this desperate need to understand, he goes back to that forbidden room behind the haunted house.
Ooh, bad idea. Going back there.
He encounters Bob again, the employee or whatever he is now. And Bob speaks to him, sadly. Why did you come back? I'm afraid it was already too late.
Too late. Late for what?
Bob continues, the horrors of this world will find you everywhere. Oh, there you are. He's yours now, I guess.
He's yours now. Who is Bob talking to and what is being passed on? This sounds like a transfer, like the narrator is being handed over.
And then she appears, the ghost girl. Slender silhouette, bloodstains on her white dress now, red eyes, yellow teeth smile, those long nails. She touches his shoulder. He feels this overwhelming wave of dreadful despair.
The ghost girl is the key. She's the entity. And Bob is like her previous captive. Or her herald. And now the narrator is the target.
He tries to run, but he's trapped. The journal describes ending up back in the same room over and over, no matter which way he runs. Classic horror trope, but terrifyingly real for him. His last words, written frantically by his phone's light.
Let me guess.
I don't want to be forgotten. I can still feel them creeping closer now. Wish me luck. I feel I might need it.
He repeated Bob's last words. Oh, God. The cycle is complete. He's become the new Bob. Trapped by the ghost girl. Curiosity didn't just kill the cat. It turned him into a permanent fixture of the nightmare.
It's absolutely chilling. But the story doesn't quite end with the journal entry.
There's more.
The friend who found the journal finishes reading it and realizes the red journal has vanished from his backpack. Gone.
What? The journal itself disappeared.
Yep. He and whoever was with him go back to the haunted house, look at the windows above the food stand. The first window still has the angry Bob puppet. But it looks different now, dilapidated, dressed in rags.
Decaying. Like his trapped spirit is weakening now that there's a replacement.
Maybe. Because then they look at the other window, and there's a different puppet there now. A puppet of a young man with despair in his eyes, holding a small red notebook.
No! The journal writer. He's the new puppet, holding his own journal.
Oh, that is horrifying. The cycle visually confirmed. The friend tries to take a picture of this new puppet with his phone. The photo just comes out pitch black.
The phenomenon actively resists being documented. It wants to stay hidden, perpetuate the cycle. That failed photo is almost as scary as the puppet itself. The final warning is stark. Stay away from open service doors behind haunted houses.
So we've gone from creepy guys at Adventureland to employees being fed to rides, and now people literally becoming part of the haunted house. We've definitely peeled back the cheerful facade today.
We really have. It shows how these places, designed for manufactured thrills, can intersect with genuine human darkness, corporate secrets, and maybe, just maybe, something truly inexplicable and malevolent. It forces you to question that surface layer of fun.
These stories, whether they stem from just awful human behavior or buried secrets or things we really can't explain, they're a stark reminder that the unknown can be lurking anywhere, even somewhere designed for pure joy.
Yeah, they definitely challenge our assumptions about safety and normalcy in seemingly innocent environments, how easily that feeling of security can be completely shattered.
So maybe the next time you're waiting in line for a roller coaster or walking past a fun house, especially one that looks a little neglected, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what stories might this place really hold? What secrets are hiding just off the main path, waiting for someone curious enough to stumble upon them?
Yeah, maybe consider, how much of that terror do we sometimes invite in ourselves, just by wanting to peek behind the curtain, by wanting to know the scary story? It's a thought to ponder. Until next time, stay curious, but maybe also stay cautious.